This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, March 22nd, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's already March 22nd right now as we record. This is Johnson from Sarasota, Florida.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
Staying up all night. This is the HomeTech Podcast. All about home automation, home technology, all sorts of fun stuff. We get a late start in the week, recording this week, but that's all right. I'll get the show out.
No travel this week though, Seth. I mean, you're kind of lucky on that regard.
Yeah. You're actually in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, not Kentucky or other parts of Ohio that should probably technically be considered to Kentucky. I don't know. Like you were very close to the border a couple of times.
Just a stone's throw away, as they used to say back in the day.
Literally, because you would be throwing stones into the river, and there's river stones.
It might hit a Kentuckian. I think that's what they call those people. I don't know.
I don't know.
Nicer than hillbilly, I guess.
That's probably what they probably called them. All right. Well, pretty slow week this week as far as home technology stuff goes, but there's a couple of headlines that came in over the transom, as they say. Or no one says that anymore because I don't think we.
What's a transom?
Yeah, they don't even put transoms in anymore, right?
Is that the same thing as a floppy disk?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Is that a bendable CD? Is that what that is?
Punch card.
You're like punching in and out at work or something.
Oh no, little punch cards for the computers. Like
yeah.
I guess you guys are that young. Okay.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I feel old now. Thanks for setting me up.
My first computer was Windows ME, which is, I guess, it's probably just as awful. So
Millennial edition.
That's right. The one that reset itself every 3 days.
Yeah, just like millennials. All right. What do you say we get started with these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
Mego Robotics is launching a Kickstarter for the Ascender, a robot vacuum that climbs stairs and offering Matter compatibility. The product features a powerful suction of 9,700 PAs, which I think I forgot what we decided.
It seems pretty strong.
Pascals. Yeah, pascals. Advanced filtration, and of course, the stair climbing functionalities for diverse step and heights surfaces. So you can walk up and down stairs. Nice. It integrates with Amazon, Alexa, Google Home, all that good stuff. And of course, Matter. It's got equipped with an HD camera, LiDAR, 6 TOF sensors. Time of flight sensors, right? Because if it falls off the stairs, it needs to know how far it's going to fall. And it promised precise navigation and intelligence. Let's see. Key features include cleaning up to 5,300 square feet on a single charge, AI obstacle avoidance, because they have to have AI in there somehow, and then seamless edge cleaning. It's got mopping built in, looks like low noise operation, all this good stuff, and it climbs stairs. I think this is a horrible idea. You were safe. We were safe. Why are we giving them the ability to walk up the stairs? It's just like cows. Cows can't walk downstairs. They can walk up, but they can't walk down. You're safe from a cow if you go downstairs. You were safe from the robot if you went upstairs. Now they're going to come after you. This is not a good idea, guys.
I didn't know about the cow thing until I watched Bob's Burgers, to be honest. I didn't realize that was a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Could you imagine staying at somebody's house and not knowing they had one of these? And you just wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to the restroom, you're going to grab a glass of water, and you go to walk up the stairs and you accidentally step on this thing and you fall right down the stairs. It looks scary. If you look at it from the pictures, it's just got like these 2 arms, which I guess makes sense. There's these little 2 arms that go down to the lower step, and then it's got the little robot vacuum part on the upper step, and I assume it can go side to side and kind of clean and stuff. It looks scary.
I guess I'm the only one that actually thought this was really cool. I liked it.
No.
It solves one of the complaints my wife has is, why doesn't the robot vacuum do the stairs? Right? That's the one complaint she has. I mean, it's not going up and down the stairs fast though. That's my only thing. It's probably going to use its whole battery just getting up. Like by the time it gets to the top, it's huffing and puffing. But it's really cool how it does it. I thought it, I liked it. It was one of those things I didn't know I wanted, and now I kind of want it. But looking at the Kickstarter, it's on Kickstarter right now. It's about $850. I've been burnt by Kickstarter before, so I'm not going to back anything on Kickstarter, but I'd like to see if this gets released. My only concern is they pretty much promise like everything for this. And when they overpromise, they usually underdeliver.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Mine's just a joke. So
mine is too.
As I say, I'm a millennial. I'm lucky enough to have a house. I definitely don't have a house with stairs, so this is not a concern of mine.
Yeah. I I'm like skimming reading this. I read the article that we'll link to, but I'm over at the Kickstarter page, and it does say that it can ascend the stairs, but it doesn't say anything about cleaning the stairs.
It goes side to side.
No, it says stair cleaning on one of the bullet points here. It says stair climbing and stair cleaning.
All right.
So it can actually, it doesn't have to turn. It can go.
Yeah, it just goes side to side.
It does a
side.
shimmy
So
across. Okay.
Yeah, so it goes up the stair and goes side to side and then goes up to the next one.
It's got mopping as well. Fancy.
Yeah, it's really, I want one.
I like the fact that it's got AI obstacle avoidance for 100 plus objects. Couldn't you just like tell it to avoid things? Like, do you really have to make it avoid objects specifically?
Yeah, baby on the.
Like, oh, sorry, we didn't program it for the baby, so it hit the baby.
I left my baby on the floor and it ran it over. Yeah, oops.
Now here's they do have a picture. Okay, I was wondering how they were going to do this because like the whole inside of the robot actually turns so it can crab walk across the stairs, I guess. And that's how the little brush thing will turn. Because I was wondering, like, if it just has the single brush moving in the middle of the stairs, that's not going to do anything. So they've thought of it, I guess. But wow, like you said, promising the world here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is always going to leave a part of your stairs not clean though, because if you look at
there's
like
giant arms, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't like the brush doesn't go like the whole thing.
No.
So I mean, unless it's gonna like move towards the front and like shimmy itself up, I don't really say I was gonna clean the whole thing.
But the whole thing about robot vacuums in general is they'll always leave a part of your house. Like it's not meant to do the full job, just 90% of it, and then every month you go around and clean up the corners and what it missed, right? So that's all it's doing. It's just keeping the basics. But I guess it's also so when it reaches the top stair, it can do your upstairs now and then go back downstairs. I think it's cool because right now I have it programmed to do the main floor, but then I have to take it upstairs once a week and then press the button, let it do the upstairs, and then it stops in my office and it's like, I'm out of juice, and then I got to put it back downstairs to charge, This just takes care of itself, It's like your little robot lawnmower you have, Seth, like just goes around the yard, does its thing, you don't have to worry about it.
Could you imagine your robot lawnmower having these little arm things so it can go up and down slopes?
Blades? Yeah, that would not be good. Nope.
You climb retaining walls?
This is not what you want to have happen. Like, I'm telling you guys, this is a bad idea. This is how it starts. So you give them this ability.
You pair this with a Neuralink and AI chip. I mean,
it's gonna like shimmy all over you is what it's gonna do.
If you're afraid of it, Seth.
I'm not afraid. I just know I like you gotta carve out space.
Hear it coming. You'll hear it coming. It's
no
not
quiet
like
operation. It says right there.
It's not gonna be that quiet. You're gonna hear this thing coming. It's not gonna sneak up on you and be looking at you in bed while you're like sleeping or something. You'll hear it coming.
No, I think it's gonna be just like what TJ was describing. You get up in the middle of the night and that thing is slid out underneath the stairs and release the parking brakes, and like you walking in on stairs and you just tripped on the robot and
it just turns the lights off. Yeah. You have no idea it's there. Bam, dead.
That's how it does it. You don't let them on the stairs. Yeah. You got to carve out safe spaces.
At least it'll clean up after your death. That's nice.
Exactly.
But the best part is this thing has matter, guys. I mean, I don't know what that means for this, but it's got matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got a little bit of time before that
matters
interface or whatever they're going to do. Yeah, I get into that was part of the matter spec they're saying they're going to be part of. But yeah, we'll have to see.
This thing has raised a ton of money, though. Right now, it's at $1.3 million raised.
So I'm not alone.
And they were only looking for $10,000 supposedly. So
wow,
definitely met that goal.
That's interesting. Well, $849. Well, you can get a 43% off this $1,500 vacuum for the early bird special there. So
yeah, it's not a bad price if it actually comes out. I mean,
I'll just wait for Aquara to come with their version and just for cheaper.
$12.
Yeah.
$12. All right. Well, yeah, it does look interesting. I don't want to climb it up downstairs. I don't even have any stairs, but no, don't think so. Bad idea.
Yeah, Gavin's rich. He's got stairs, so.
Wow. Is that how we judge it now? Is like the more stairs you have, the richer you are?
He's got a basement, right?
It's like $50,000 per stair, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's America for you.
I got a basement too, boys.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Just rub it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can hide from the cows down there.
Unless they fall down the stairs, then they're taking you out,
Well, then you get this, clean it right up.
Yep.
Exactly. There you go. Hide the evidence.
All right. Well, let's move on here. Shelly Group, smart home solution providers, introduced KNX compatibility to their devices. Kind of is a little bit of a differentiator because they've primarily been focused on Wi-Fi, and I think they just recently had some products that do Z-Wave, right? So,
and Bluetooth.
Yeah, Bluetooth. Yep. Shelly Pro and Pro PM devices are going to be added in. They're offering KNX support. It's going to be coming in through what they call KNX Net IP communication. So not the traditional, I guess, KNX network where you wire it up, but this KNX Net IP communication protocol. Looks like they've kind of put that in. I'm going to link to this. I thought this was interesting that they're doing this, but they also in here that they mentioned that the Shelly Group also started participating in the DALI Alliance for DALI lighting control. So that could be pretty interesting because it's pretty popular overseas where Shelly is admittedly from. But I actually have started to notice some manufacturers here in the States have been getting on board with DALI lighting. So I think that one might be what sneaks in here over time. The guys in the UK have been raving about DALI for a long time to us in the hub. And we're like, yeah, I don't know why we don't have anything nice over here. And it looks like some of the nicer fixture manufacturers have started putting DALI. If we get a little Shelly controls over here too doing DALI, I think we'll be doing all right.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever messed with KNX. I know a lot of our UK friends use KNX a lot for pretty much everything, but I don't think I've ever personally touched it.
I haven't either. They're huge in Europe, right? That's what they say. They are. I think it's like I think most of them are like deployed in Germany as far as like a lighting control solution. Or I think they do more than lighting these days. Like it does a lot more.
Yeah, it's like shades and everything at this point.
Yeah, like almost like building management.
Yeah.
For the home. But it's kind of like from what I remember, it's a closed protocol. You have to go to get training on it. You have to run this particular software to set everything up. But it is like their own standard. And it's been around forever and it's in a ton of homes.
Well, it's all like all wired too, right?
Yeah, it's wired.
I don't know if they don't have like wireless KNX as far as I know.
Well, I think that's what this KNX Net IP solution kind of brings to the party. Not like that would be very hard for them to do, just to pump like a slower protocol over IP. You do have issues with routing and all that stuff, like depending on how they do that. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more. But I do think it's interesting. We're starting to see some different protocols pop up in like, especially something like Shelly, where that this is going to be like a $30 thing. Like, here's a $30 controller. There you go. It kind of opens up the market a little bit more.
I think that's key. It's the price of the Shelly products. They're going to be cheap. So yeah, once they're that cheap, more people will buy it. I don't know how much KNX, what kind of investment though for a KNX system you need to make.
I don't think it's much, just because it's so ubiquitous. Like it's one of those things that's just been there for a while. From what I remember seeing, like just the smart keypads and that kind of thing, they were reasonably priced in euros. And this is when I was looking at them a few years back. A lot of the high end brands have kind of come over and tried to bring KNX along with them. Maybe like Basalt, is that one of them?
That sounds right.
But it sounds like a good move for Shelly, especially in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And good news, everybody. KNX has a direct integration with Home Assistant. So
yeah, there you go.
If you want to get it, you can implement it right in.
I don't see how they couldn't be integrated with Home Assistant. It is a massive standards based home automation protocol that like exists elsewhere, just not here. So I'm glad to see it, and I'm glad to see DALI come over because DALI seems kind of cool too. So speaking of home integration standards, the Connectivity Standards Alliance has launched the IoT device security specification and certification program to ensure security in the consumer IoT devices and provide a product security verified mark, or PSV mark, for compliant products. Yay, they got a logo. The program aims to offer a globally recognized standard for cybersecurity in smart home devices and will enhance consumer awareness and trust in their products. Companies like Google, Amazon, Philips Hue are involved in developing this program. This kind of comes on the heels of that one. I can't remember, the FCC came out with the government mark one. It seems like the government was like, yeah, we're going to make this safe mark thing. And then the CSA is like, no, we'll do it. So I don't know, like we're going to have all these like safe, remember like on the internet, like in the early days where you'd go to like a website on GoDaddy and it'd be like trusted website and have that check. And it wasn't trusted. They wouldn't put that on the website if they weren't trusted, right?
Yeah, nobody does that.
I mean, and everybody just clicks trusted anyway, or like whenever they try You get around that anyway. Like, I think these things are dumb. It's like every website I go to, are you over the age of 18? Yes. Like, it doesn't matter. Why even bother ask that anymore?
Yep. The U.S. Cyber Trust Mark is the other one.
Yeah.
And I will say, well, first of all, the CSA looks exactly like the trusted website mark. It's got the check mark on it. So good job, guys. You've brought back the web from the early 2000s. And then, I don't know, the government didn't do so well with their logo. I don't think that's as good. So
Yeah, the government one looks super outdated.
it already looks outdated.
Like, if you had this 10 years ago, it'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so cool. Cyber trust.
I mean, honestly, though, I think this is like a good like initiative. I don't know like if it's actually going to do anything in the long run, but some of the highlights of it, are you have to have a unique identity for each IoT device. No hard-coded default passwords, which I think is like the most important one, right? We kind of got rid of that. We kind of stumbled into that by the California law that dictated no default passwords, but that's still not like a requirement on federal level as far as I'm aware. Secure storage of sensitive data on the device. That's kind of important. Secure communications of security relevant information. That's pretty important. So, I mean, there's a couple of things in here that are super important. It's just one of those things that matters if they actually enforce it, which if we know anything about government regulations is almost never actually enforced because they just don't have the funding and everything for it. So I think this is a good idea if it actually happens.
Yep. It'll be good for marketing.
But this is a private thing as well. We're talking about the CSA instead of the government trust mark. So this might actually be a thing that companies take seriously.
Yep. It says they plan to keep the specifications updated and work hard on companies to recertify for at least every 3 years, which I guess, that's nice and all. But like if a product's been sitting on the shelf for 3 years, it's still got that mark on it. You can't go take it off.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, but you'll lose your accreditation.
I was walking around Best Buy and I noticed this product's not certified anymore.
Yeah. My $5 smart bulb from Amazon doesn't have this mark. Am I going to care? No, I'm not going to care.
Exactly.
And I think that's a key thing too, is how many people are really going to care, right? Like people buy products nowadays and they don't even care where it's reporting to. Are they going to care about a little badge like this? Probably not.
Well, it's a step in the right direction, I guess. And it's a nice effort. So hopefully it is more than something for marketing for these companies that participate in it.
Yeah, something definitely needs to be done. I think we can all agree on that.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to swing back into robot news. This is kind of a nice one here. This one cannot navigate stairs for good reason. But Segway has released the Navimo series robot. It's a lawnmower. It's going to be one of the first under $1,000 robot lawnmowers that can autonomously navigate without having a boundary wire. Uses a bunch of all sorts of neat things, including a RTK GPS and obstacle avoidance engine. So, but starting off for a mower that can be 1.25 acres, that's the $9.99, and then if you need to go up to a quarter of an acre, you can get the $12.99 one. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, this is actually very affordable. It's one of those things that I could see myself getting. Just like you said, Seth, the robot lawnmowers are typically pretty expensive. You can buy, the Husqvarna one, I think. You can buy for like $700, but then you have to bury the guide wire and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to bury a wire around my house so I can use a lawnmower. So for $1,000, base price, and it doesn't use the guide wire, I think that's a really good deal. And it'll be interesting to see how many of these we see popping up over the next couple of years.
Yeah, the one that they linked to in the article, the Automower 450X EPOS, that is the Husqvarna one that you don't need the boundary wire for. That kind of, I guess they're kind of comparing this one to, and that is a $6,000 robot lawnmower, which I don't think I could swing. That's just not going to happen. So.
Yeah, definitely not.
I do like this, the RTK GPS, because it's basically like a little device you set up in the yard and plug in, kind of at the base station or whatever. And it kind of like calibrates like that exact spot. It's picked up and it does like centimeter precision. As long as it has that signal, you can kind of figure out where it is. So that's really cool. It's a good price.
The price is amazing. They at that price, they are going to make it more mainstream. More people will be able to afford it. More will buy it. I think that's a great price. And when you look at all the features and stuff, it's pretty good too. So I'm actually shocked that Segway introducing it at that price. Like Segway, I expect when they came out with something, it would be expensive, but No, this is a great price. Every time I mow the lawn, I always go online and check the current prices of lawnmowers, these robotic lawnmowers. And I think, who knows what will happen this summer.
Yeah, Segway's actually come out with some pretty affordable things. They've got a couple e-bikes and scooters and stuff like that I think are pretty fair price. So this seems to be their new play.
They're already pretty good with things with 2 wheels and batteries, so that kind of makes sense.
And good news, Seth, they do sell a garage. So you can get this and make sure it has a place to go. It's only $200 for the garage.
Not a concrete culvert that you manufactured, no?
Yeah, it's kind of I would say it's more of like a lean-to or a carport. I wouldn't really say this is a garage, but to each their own.
I will say, just kind of looking over the website, the thing that's the most impressive that they have is the app. I mean, we kind of forget about that. But my little, what I would call, it's called the AYI robot, does not have the best of app interfaces. It's got basically a start and stop button, and that might work. But this one's got kind of more of the a nicer design to it. It's got what looks to be kind of like what I have for the robot vacuum now.
Yeah, like zone management and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's kind of nice too. Like my robot vacuum, I can send to like different rooms and stuff specifically if I want to, or set up like schedules. And I feel like that would be a good thing to have with the robot lawnmower as well.
Yeah. Wow, they have a 4G module too.
Ooh.
You can plug that in, and if somebody steals it, you can see where they are.
Probably more expensive than an AirTag, but won't let the thief know at least.
Nah, the thief, they're smart. They'll get the flipper zero out and turn that thing off. I don't know. This is looking pretty cool. I do like the idea of the zone thing too, because it says like a 1/4 acre, right? But like if you have more, there's nothing stops you from like saying mow this zone one day and mow this zone the next day. Like the idea behind these robot lawnmowers is that they continuously mow their lawn. Like in fact, I'm sitting here, I'm remembering that I did clean Clippy up a little bit last night because he was dirty and wasn't charging. So I'm going to send him to work while we're on the podcast here. So my lawn's mowed in the morning. There we go. But yeah, you just send them out to mow when basically the grass is dry, and they go to town, and you don't have to worry about them. Get to work, little guy. There you go.
You're so mean to your robots.
No wonder he doesn't want that one that can go upstairs.
I know. Yeah.
Straight up murder.
Bad idea. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the HomeTech headlines. If all the links and topics we'll discuss, all the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/474. All right. Nothing in the mailbag this week. We do have a pick of the week. This is hilarious. TJ, you posted this. I don't know. Did you post this in the hub or just to us, Gavin and I? But it's hilarious.
No, I posted it in the hub. I was trying to post it on HomeTech, but on the Mastodon server that we have, but it wasn't supported for some reason. I don't know.
Weird. It's an MOV file, though.
Do we need to upgrade?
Might need an update or something. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hit your play on this, and we're going to listen to, what is it? So it's just a video. I'm just going to describe this video. It's just a video of a door lock, and it looks like it's
the Yale Sherlock 2 Z-Wave edition.
Okay, there we go. And it's being activated or to lock, right? So here it goes.
Oh man. Yeah, so the other day I was home, and I think like I had left the door unlocked or something, and I was sitting at the computer, and I decided to lock it from Home Assistant like I normally do. And all of a sudden I hear, and I was looking around and I was like, what was that? And it sounds oddly familiar. Like, so if you ever played Stardew Valley, there's a ghost in one of the caves that you kill, and it makes like a moaning sound, and it sounds just like that. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then the other day I was home, and I locked the door as I was next to it, and it made that sound. And I looked at my lock like it was possessed.
Sounds like it's possessed, honestly.
Because what device makes that sound as it's dying? Like there's like no, it just couldn't like give me like a beep or something. It had to give the moan like it was dying. And I guess that's like good. I knew what was happening. Like as soon as I heard that sound, I was like, well, the battery's low. Like that's what's happening.
Dying, yeah.
So I mean, a very intuitive sound, I guess. But
What else would it be?
It sounded like it was dying. Like they really planned that. And they planned that one out nicely. Yeah.
Good job, Yale.
Yeah.
So I replaced the battery and the sound is gone, but I kind of want to put dead batteries in there just to have that sound all the time.
Yeah.
Because it makes the little sound whenever it locks, do do do. But the moaning sound is so much better. I wonder if I can program that with Home Assistant.
I guess it's better than it's better than just a weird, like, I think mine was getting close to dying one day. The batteries were, and like it kind of stopped working. I was lucky I wasn't like locked out or anything, so I was able to catch it. But like, it's better than it just dying and you not knowing, right? That's right. Never good. So I don't see any restrictions on here that say you can't upload this video to the Mastodon server. By the way,
did you try to post it after you?
Let's take a look.
I don't know. Maybe I made that up.
Hi, TJ. See, we don't need to upgrade. Wait, I think I have to do this as a...
Why are you resisting? I just want to search.
That's funny. That's funny. I can't do the direct message from here. So I don't want to do this, but I've uploaded it. It's converted it and I can add a description to it. Oh, I'm going to mark it as sensitive.
Yeah, try to post it though.
Oh, I deleted it.
Let me upload it and everything. Oh, see, you suck.
I'll do it later. I don't know. It says that there's a 99 megabyte limit.
See, it's the physical size of it. 3840 by 2160 video not supported.
Oh.
It's probably because you downloaded it in potato quality. So
you got to do it in widescreen.
I have it in full HD or UHD or 4K or whatever they call it these days.
Well, I'm glad your lock is no longer possessed. That's really funny.
It is fine. It works.
Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, weird sounds your home technology devices make, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@hometech.fm. You can reach out at hometech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, project updates. Gavin, you're the only one that wrote anything in here. Although I do kind of have a project update I will talk about, but what's up, man? What's going on?
Oh no, it's been a slow week, but I converted another one of my camera floodlight cameras to Z-Wave, so that's been cool.
Wait, not the other one? You done another one now?
Yeah. Well, I have like 5 of them outside, but there's a couple of them that I want to be really reliable, so that's why I converted them over to Z-Wave. So, that if the hub's down or like anything else like that, they'll still work without the hub being up, right? It's just that they were very important. So, it's just a matter of cutting it open, removing some other stuff, rewiring the insides. And it's I can control it with Z-Wave. I felt like a brain surgeon with this thing open on my workbench and I'm working away on it, like pulling all the wires. I was like rewiring the way it thought. So that's cool. I'll put it back together and mount it. And I just set up the associations and it's more reliable now. I can control the lights using Z-Wave associations when not require a hub. That was the whole reason behind this, because so many times you wake up and something like they either drop off Wi-Fi or the hub was offline for whatever reason, and then you can't control any of the lights. Well, now I still can.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I thought of you. I was watching. Well, last night I had to do a bunch of dishes, and I ran across this Ars article about this guy who printed a 3D printed, like the original Mac, like to spec, and it's kind of amazing to like. It's one of those videos where they don't talk and they just kind of like do all the steps, and it's kind of like putting it together and the clicking sounds and the sanding and all that stuff. So it was like in the background, I look over and see, oh, look at him. He's sanding. He printed it up real fast. The 3D printing part looks really cool because I think he only took a picture when like the 3D print head went to the side. So it was just like a bunch. It would just grow out of the bed. Yeah. It was really cool.
The time lapse.
Yeah, it was a little time lapse. It was so cool. And then, it made this weird little sound that he put in there too. So, but I'll put a link to that article in our show notes too. It was a fun watch, and he went crazy detailed on the case and all the stuff that he did. I was like, wow, look at all this stuff he has. This makes me want to 3D print something. And then I'm like, that would take me like a year and a half. There's no way. So.
You'd be surprised, but yeah, the printing process is actually kind of long. Like you may have seen just a time-lapse video and thought, oh, that was pretty quick. No, it was probably like a few days of printing that he did.
Yeah, guaranteed. And designing too, because one of the things that I don't think you notice, but he kind of goes over, like he does all the electronic work. He puts basically a a computer inside of it because, he doesn't have the Mac computer to put back inside of it. He's making a replica, right? So it's this weird, it's a PC that's running a old Macintosh emulator, and it can boot. He's got a floppy disk drive in this thing. I mean, he went all out on this thing, but it's all connected inside with all these weird Arduino converters and USB ports and all that kind of thing. One of the things I noticed as he was putting all that together, there were holes, like mounting holes in the 3D prints that he made. I'm like, he had all of the electronic stuff done. He had to have had, so he could measure where the holes go. Because there's no way to put all this together. And but that kind of takes place after he did all the 3D printing. Like, no. This guy thought all this through, and he knew where the holes needed to go, and he laid everything out exactly where it needed to go, printed it all up, and it went together beautifully. Like it's an excellent job. It's amazing. So
yeah, you have respect for people that do stuff like that. It's very time consuming designing that. I know. I've just done simple ones, but yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, this was beyond what I think most people would be willing to do for sure. It was pretty wild, but it's pretty cool video. Like I said, I had a lot of dishwashing to do. I think it played the entire time I was washing dishes. So there you go. But yeah, nice. He's got a Macintosh computer that he printed out of nothing. So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Reminds me of those commercials as you're watching the movies. You wouldn't download a car, and it's like, no, I would.
I'm sure
No, I
I think
can't
you
even
understand.
It's probably cheaper to download that car and print it now,
I would do that in a heartbeat.
You wouldn't 3D print a car. This guy with a hoodie, a wrench in his hand.
And then the other thing I was working on this week, well, it was spring in Canada last week. And I got out in t-shirt and everything and installed the EcoIt weather station. I grabbed that, the WS90. I think TJ, you have the same one. And Seth, I think you have the same one, right?
Nope, I've got the Tempest thing.
Oh, you have the Tempest. Okay, yeah, we got the cheaper version, and it actually is really cool. Like the number of sensors it has and everything. So it does everything from measuring wind to rain to temperature, sun, UV index, etc., etc. It's solar powered, but it's really nice, and it goes in nicely with my setup since I have other EcoIt devices and I have their gateway, so it all just fits in nicely. So yeah, that I installed in the yard. And it was an easy install, just mounting it on a pole.
It looks like it's almost a carbon copy of the Tempest one.
Yeah, exactly.
And what is it?
But it integrates with Home Assistant.
Yeah.
So does Tempest. That's where all my entities come from.
Oh, does it? I didn't think of it.
Yeah. It sucked it all right in.
Yeah.
What is the what protocol does that have between the base station and I assume there's a base station, but you probably didn't have to.
It's all RF.
Yeah, RF.
It's all RF. So the base station receives a signal via RF, and then the base station is on the network that it integrates with Home Assistant. So every minute it sends a API call over to Home Assistant, and Home Assistant does all the processing.
So you're not integrated with the RF, you're integrated with the base station. That's exactly how the Tempest is working too. So it's a MQTT thing, and yeah.
Yeah, the hub is definitely the easiest way.
Yeah, because before I was integrating with my RF receiver, my SDR antenna I bought, and it worked great too. But I'd have to decode everything, and then I just found when you had the gateway, you had better range. Their gateway is pretty good when it comes to range and stuff like that. So it works so much better. So if you're looking for a weather station, I can highly recommend that. It's pretty good.
But what was the price on it? Do you remember? I looked it up last week and we were talking about it, and it was less than the Tempest for sure.
In Freedom units, it's 169.
Yeah.
What is it in Canadian bacons?
It's over 200 Canadian bacons.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Tempest is over 300.
That's like $300 some odd dollars. Right?
It's like $300.
Yeah.
339, I think. Yeah.
Yep. I swapped a third of a cow for one. So, it was pretty good.
915 megahertz, does temperature, humidity, rain gauge, wind speed and direction, UV index, and solar radiation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. And you should probably keep an eye on that one when the eclipse comes over in a couple days.
Yeah.
Right. So you should be able to see that solar radiation graph go down. I watched that. We had an eclipse go through not too long ago. It was the end of last year. You could see it with glasses. You have to put the eclipse glasses on, but you couldn't. I mean, you could just tell it's kind of like the sun's a little less intense during the day.
Yeah.
But you really couldn't see. It wasn't like a full thing. It was like half where we were. But looking at that solar radiation sensor that's on the Tempest and like the lux meter and everything, it was just like, wow, there's something going on. It's back to like dawn levels worth of solar radiation hitting the thing. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually have mine set up with automations for my outside lights. And so if it's like within a half hour of sunset or it gets down to a certain brightness outside, my lights will turn on.
Oh, that's smart.
So I'll see if that turns on with the solar eclipse there.
Ah, good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good because it actually reports pretty frequent, which is nice, right? Then you can base automations off of it. And it has an internal battery that it charges using the sun. So you don't have to really run power. You only have to run power if you want to use the heating pad inside. In the cold temperature, has a built-in heating pad that will melt the snow and stuff like that off of it. But
what?
I mean, yeah, if you don't want to use that, then you could just use solar power.
Will it chase the lizards off? I think is what I needed to.
It'll attract cats.
If I turn that on, yeah, they'll go up there to the sun.
Cats.
Yeah,
they will have cats sitting on it, and we'll have to buy a device that will, stop the cats from sitting on it.
One thing I don't know, you probably don't know, or maybe TJ, you know, if you've had it around a little bit, how fast does it determine that rain is hitting the top? Because I think just like the Tempest, it has the, it's not a rain gauge like you typically see that is on like a sprinkler system or something like that.
It's like a piezo sensor or something like that.
Yeah, it's it picks up the tapping basically on the top of it and says, oh, it must be raining. I've noticed that the Tempest takes a couple minutes and a pretty good downpour to say, oh yeah, by the way, it's raining outside. I'm like, yeah, I know that. I had to run in like 2 or 3 minutes ago.
That I don't know. Somebody else was commenting as well. I was on like a home assistant Facebook group or something like that. And somebody else said that it was like when it detects like 0.01 inches of rain. But I haven't confirmed that or anything. I'm not using the rain portion yet. Maybe this year when we do the automated watering. But I don't necessarily need the speed for that. So I'll have to pay attention to that, though.
Yeah, you can set limits to how much it needs to detect before it starts registering it. But it does take some time because it wants to avoid false positives.
Right. And I will say on the safe side of things, the Tempest, it'll definitely be raining, if not like just drizzling or whatever. It'll pick that up, but it'll take its time before it says, oh yeah, it must be drizzling at your house. Which, I'm okay with. I would rather have that than the annoying, like, it's raining at your house and I go outside and it's not raining anymore. Like
just burp.
There's a bird tap dancing on it. So, but yeah, I was just curious about that because I'm curious, like it looked like almost the same product. And I was curious if you guys had noticed anything on that. So
I've had less than a millimeter of rain since I installed it, so I can't really speak on it yet.
Yeah.
I'll have rain tomorrow, I think. I'll tell you how long it takes. It is kind of cool. Like even when we're traveling out of town, I'll get a push notification. It's raining at your house. It'll like, oh, it's raining at home. I'll check the cameras. Sure enough, it's raining. It's pretty good. Or the street's all wet and everything. So I don't know. It's a nice little thing to have, and it does seem to kind of keep up with how much rain is measured at that location. So can't complain. It's been a good product.
Well, I do have the rain gauge sitting right next to it too, so I can actually compare them. So yeah. I will see, because the rain gauge is just, it's like a little funnel that funnels the water down into a little cup that tilts once it gets filled, and then it registers it. So I'm going to compare the two and just see what readings I get. That's what I'm used to, right? That's the kind of one that's like the
traditional one.
Traditional, yeah. Analog method.
The boomer one.
No, that would be the thing like screwed to the little cup.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I got something, guys. Check this out.
What?
Don't be jealous now.
Ooh, a wireless fluid level monitor, so you can detect your oil tank. That's a good idea.
I guess you can detect any kind of fluid. It doesn't specify what kind of tank you would hook up to. I don't know. This company's called Aquatel. They're out of New Zealand. I kind of did and didn't. I kind of took over a driver for them a few years ago, and I never even had the product, so I just kind of made the driver, and it kind of worked. But it was like I need to do some updates to it. Send me a unit, and then yada yada yada. Things happen. You got busy. They got busy. Yada yada yada. COVID happens. Like every couple of months, I would like, hey, can you send me a unit? Oh yeah, we'll get to it. And then after the pandemic, kind of dropped the ball on that one. But I think I've contacted her like 2 or 3 more times since then, and maybe every 12 months at that point. I don't know. But finally, I got one. Finally showed up, and I'll probably do some updates to it now that I have this. But now I got to find a tank to attach it to, and the only tank I have is the sewer tank thing that's in the backyard.
Oh, perfect.
that the county owns, technically. So I don't think I can modify it.
They won't notice.
They might, because it's the county, the pump inside of it's not great, evidently. And the alarm does go off on it quite a bit. And I say quite a bit. It's gone off like 5 times since we've owned this thing, and they've had to replace the motor twice. So like it must not be the best materials in there or whatever, but they have to come out and replace it. So I can't have this thing like drilled into the top of their tank lid, and they'd be like, "What is that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Don't ask me.
I thought you guys put that there.
I got it for free. I don't have to worry about it. I mean, no, it's not mine.
Yeah, exactly. So I may find something. We have the community center. I may find something over there that I can attach it to. Like we have a pool over there that has a big giant tank with a giant filter thing in it. I've never seen anything like this before. But it'd be nice, and like, I guess you could monitor the water level in that and see what it's doing, which would probably always be the same. But it would get data coming in. Oh, I don't know. I'll find something. I think a lot of people use these things for like rain cisterns and that kind of thing, especially in desert climates, that kind of stuff. They hook it up to their home automation system. So cool little product. I can hook up, what did it say? How many tanks I can hook up to one of these units? I think up to 6 tanks, right? Yeah. Ooh. 6 tanks. So
that's pretty good.
Not bad, not bad. I know you guys would be jealous of that one.
That's a lot of tanks.
Super jealous.
It depends on how big the tanks are, I guess. But just be. I'm thinking if I can't find anything, I'll just use the Home Depot bucket that I got sitting over there. See how well it works. It uses like a sound. It has a little sound emitter on the bottom of it, and I guess makes little popping sounds or something, and determines how deep the tank is and how much percentage is that you have left. So it's kind of cool. Not a bad idea. And then I got a question. So I was looking online at the, there's 2 things. One of them is the SwitchBot not blind tilter, the curtain rod thing where it scoots the curtains around. And the other one, I guess Aqara has one. And I kept looking at back and forth at them, and I'm like, I don't know which one to get because they're about the same price, roughly, maybe. SwitchBot has a limited deal running on these things right now, but I don't have anything SwitchBot. So I think I need to get a
SwitchBot hub.
A hub, yeah.
Or you can, I think you can directly connect them to Bluetooth on Home Assistant if you had a Bluetooth dongle. But I would still get the hub.
Yeah, that's going to be your easiest path forward.
But if I had to choose between the 2, I kind of prefer the Aqara ones. But if you're going to use the SwitchBot app, that's probably a little bit more power. But since you're integrating into Home Assistant, I kind of prefer the Aqara ones, mainly because...
Am I?
Well, it depends on what you're planning to do. Like, there's so many options. I have both of them, and I find the Aqara ones, they react faster.
Okay.
Right, where the SwitchBot ones seem to react a lot slower, right? To when you press a button to when they start opening.
It's got to go through the cloud.
Right. I think the most I would do with this would be to press a button, or not press a button, but like just trigger, like in the morning, open up the curtains and then close them towards the evening time. Especially like we have some pretty serious sun that comes in. Our house faces west. So like when you're eating dinner sometimes, where I sit, it's just basically all sunlight. So we have the curtains that like get pulled over that. It would be nice if that didn't happen.
They're both pretty cool. I know with the SwitchBot ones, you can get the add-on, I think the solar power add-on.
Yeah.
So you never have to worry about the batteries at that point. You might want to if you want to do that, then you can go that way. My batteries last a long time, and these open and close, like twice a day. And the batteries last a very long time. The SwitchBot ones also, I'll be honest, have they have stickers you could put on where it kind of determines the limit when it's closed, right? Where with the Aqara ones, you kind of program it, it estimates it, but it can sway a bit, over time, so they don't fully close sometimes. If someone hits it or yanks it, it kind of throws off where it thinks it is in the track. But the SwitchBot ones, when they come together, they detect that little magnet and they're like, okay, this is the end, and it's always there.
Interesting.
Right? So that's like a plus for it. I know with the SwitchBot, they advertise that quiet feature. I think even up to today, that's only available if you use their app. Like if you're going to integrate it with anything, there's no like quiet feature. And even that quiet feature is where it kind of just goes slow, very slow.
Well, in my use case that I want it for, I don't care if it goes slow. I mean, I guess if I wanted to open it manually or whatever, but I mean, these curtains weren't part of our house for something like 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like we just had an open window type thing or open slider.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just eventually got little curtains to cover it in the last year, I guess. But annoying as it's nice to have them. I just rather it be open in the morning when we're up and then closed in the evening.
You can't go wrong with either one, but for your basic case, if you're going to go get a Zigbee Aquara one, you're fine, right? For basic, less complicated setup, Otherwise, you're going to, like you said, you're either going to have to get a Bluetooth dongle or use their hub. And their hub's probably a better way to do it, to be honest.
And that would be your first Matter device.
No, it wouldn't. I have one now.
Oh.
I did upgrade my tiny little
Eve.
What's it called? Eve thing. Yeah. So I did update that.
Dang it.
Sorry.
No reason then.
Yeah, no reason to get it. This also complicates thing because if I keep it in the SwitchBot family, Aquara may have one of these too because they always have everything. The SwitchBot blind and tilt motor blinds thing, blind opening and closer thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that too.
I have that too. Yep.
So I'm looking at the curtains. I'm like, well, what about the blinds? The blinds are right over there. I can do the same thing.
So before you purchase, though, measure the diameter of your curtain rods.
Okay.
Right? Because they only work with certain diameters. But I think the SwitchBot, I can't remember if it's the SwitchBot or the Aquara ones. One of them works with smaller rods than the other one. Right? Like it has more range. So you want to see what kind of the size of your curtain rod and see if it will fit, because otherwise you'll be like me buying new curtain rods.
Oh.
As well as a hub, as well as the devices. And it adds up quickly because then you realize that the new rods were too thick for the current drapes. So you buy new drapes. And yeah, you hope nobody notices that there were new drapes put in the room. But they notice.
They notice. That's funny. I see the Aquara curtain motor. I'm looking on Amazon. Amazon doesn't seem to have the curtain motor that it has the track style, but it doesn't have the pole rod style, I guess. So I don't know. I might not be able to do that one. It would be nice, I guess, because I don't need a hub for that. I have the Aquara hub already.
Yeah, that one's either Zigbee through the Aquara hub, or you can add it straight to the Home Assistant Zigbee.
Home Assistant?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to do some more research, I think, and keep looking.
I probably didn't answer your question, like which one. You were probably looking for a final
either
version.
One.
Yeah, they're in the end, I have them both, and they both do what you want it to do. They open, they close, that's it. Right? Like, that's all I wanted it to do. I mean, if you ever wanted to go down the Zigbee route and use Zigbee, what do they call it? Bindings and stuff like that, that's where the Aquara would work. You can bind it to your Switch, or something like that. I mean,
but I have an Aquara hub. I don't need it.
Yeah. I'm just throwing out the different options, so.
Yeah. I mean, it is nice that both path to integration, like either both, potentially directly, like with Bluetooth or Zigbee.
Yep.
But also they have a hub that you can kind of integrate with.
And their hub allows you to use Matter, right? So the Aquara hub.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yep.
So you're open to a lot of options either way. The only thing I didn't like with the Matter integration with SwitchBot was it didn't give you a battery sensor, right? With that integration. So, you couldn't really monitor the battery of the device through Home Assistant if you added it via Matter. Whereas if you add it every other way, you get a battery entity. That was like a -1 for Matter.
What the batteries are.
Yeah. Because you want to know what the battery levels are so you can get notifications of when they're dying. But their app will notify you too anyway. So depends on how important it is to you.
I don't see any blind controllers here. I don't have to for Aquara. So I may just end up in the SwitchBot family.
So the Aquara, I don't think Aquara has the SwitchBot has that unique one where with the rod.
Yeah.
Where it turns it. Yeah. That's a SwitchBot thing. It seems to be kind of unique in that area. I know Aquara has the cord ones.
They have a bunch of yeah,
but they don't have the rod one, right? And then I've seen some companies that also have retrofit ones where you can actually put it up in the mechanism itself. You might want to look at those. I think Z blinds or something like that, where it's a Zigbee version and it kind of like goes up in it, but There were a lot of restrictions, like if the rod's tilt-a-rod, it's not going to work with that. It has to be a rod that comes straight down and certain things like that, right? But
Yeah.
those are
The
more...
Aquara gets me in the ballpark faster than
Yeah. It all depends on where you want to go with this, But yeah, SwitchBot will have both of those if you want. And I also have the SwitchBot, the rod, what do they call it? Blinds? I have those as well too. And in terms of how they work pretty much the same. Speed wise, everything too. They're not the prettiest to watch working because every time they turn the rod, that rod goes flying all over the place too. Just because of how it turns it and it's angled and everything. So you kind of I'm going to 3D print like a rod stabilizer, but the nice part about it is when it's attached, the rod still works. Right. So you could still turn the rod because of how it's designed and operate it yourself. And the SwitchBot will still know if it's in the open or closed state or what state it's in because it's actually turning the inside of the SwitchBot as well. So it's pretty cool how it works.
Smart design.
Yeah. It's a smart retrofit design. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to need a SwitchBot. All this has been sitting in my Amazon cart. And I'm like, you know what? I got to ask because there's questions I have. And, and I gotta get on these projects. These are completely unwarranted projects, and probably will not be appreciated as much as anything the other things I should be doing.
And all those projects are going to be noticed as soon as they walk into the room and try to manually open up the blinds. She's gonna be like, "Why is the blinds not? Oh, now they're opening on their own. Oh."
So this is the case. This is the case. My wife, she's never opened the blinds. She doesn't want them opened. But if they crack a little bit and let a little bit of sunlight in, I'd be okay with them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm angling for.
Your wife is a vampire like me.
Yeah, she doesn't like the seeing in thing. I'm like, but you can't see out either.
I don't need my neighbors to see me.
I don't care if they see me. I just wanted them to know I'm looking at them. So
just put your picture up on one of the windows, staring at them all the time.
It's 2 eyeballs. Yeah. It's like. Well, that's all I got. I got a driver's story. I've done a ton of work at work on projects, which, if you're in the Control4 driver business and you do, you do some, commercial stuff, we've got some, I finished off. I've done a ton of work and finished off a ton of features on the Yamaha MTX driver that we did, which is kind of like a mixing driver. So yeah, if you're doing Control4 and you run across those, which, yes, there is a free driver, but I don't know. Like, I didn't write the free driver, and I looked at it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I kind of took a different approach with the one that we made, and it has its own interface for mixing stuff in Control4, which didn't exist before. So it's kind of unique in that respect. And I put a lot of work into it. So it's been a labor of love, really, because I don't know at this point. Are we profitable? I have no idea. This driver, I spent so much time on it. It seems to be getting more popular, and Yamaha is actually recommending it to people. So that's kind of nice. Check that out. That's what I've been up to. And then as soon as I finish these other projects, I can go plug in SwitchBots and all that stuff. So yay. Gonna check out right now.
Spend some money live.
Yeah. Well, I'm clicking through and they have these limited time deals or whatever, but I can get a SwitchBot. The SwitchBot thing, there's a pack of them, a 3-pack or something. So I might do that.
I spent $700 on the show a couple weeks ago, or right after the show. So you guys gotta catch up.
All right. Oh, a $20 coupon.
Ooh.
TJ, what are you up to, man?
No projects.
Boo.
I got I guess the only thing I got done was I got the LifeX pathway lights permanently installed. I buried the wire this past weekend. We had a couple days in nice-ish weather. It was in the 50s and 60s. So I dug up my yard and hid the giant power brick things that they come with and hid the wire in the ground. And they work great still. So I don't think I jinxed myself by burying at least. So
no, I would say that's enough of a project. Because that's a lot of work. I mean,
yeah,
the stupid little tiny wire, even the one that I buried around for the whole yard for the stupid lawnmower thing, that took forever. That took way longer than I thought it was going to take.
Oh, see, I cheap out a little bit, and I just take the shovel and I shove it in there, and I just open the land up a little bit and just shove the wire down there. So it took me I think 2 hours to go the whole distance and bury all the stuff. So it wasn't that bad. I even upgraded to a 300 watt transformer. So I got that going. I might buy another like floodlight or two, or a spotlight, I guess, to light up the house a little bit. But I think I'm gonna wait till I do some of the garden beds and everything. So that is the only thing I've gotten up to at this time.
It reminds me, I have some outside lighting I need to go to.
Well, it's funny. Like every time I tell somebody I'm like hardwiring lights, they're like, "Why don't you just do solar lights? You know, you go buy a 6-pack of solar lights for $50." And like, yeah, but I want control over the lights. Like the RGB is kind of cool, but like I just want to be able to turn them on and off whenever I want, and you can't do that with solar lights. So
Yeah.
the easiest thing is to do it with hardwire lights, and the ones I usually buy are like $75 like dealer cost each. So for $25 more, I get RGB. And they look pretty nice too, so I'm happy with them so far.
But I will say that the what's it called, solar ones that you can get. I even have the ring ones, and they're okay. But
yeah, I have the ring wall mount ones.
Yeah, I have those. I have the ones that like the stake ones. I have 2 of those sitting out front. And there's times that they don't light up because they didn't get enough charge during the day or whatever. It's like, they're just annoying. And then like the little solar ones that you can go pick up like a 6-pack at the dollar store for, or Home Depot or whatever. Like those don't produce any light. I mean, if it's dark outside, you might notice that they produce light, but they're never great. It's never a good quality light that you would get off of one of these products. It's hardwired.
Right.
Yeah. So absolutely recommend hardwiring lights.
Yeah, I almost did the ring path lights only because it has the built-in motion sensor, which I thought would be kind of useful. So if somebody walks by it, like they automatically turn on.
Yeah.
But they were like, I think those ones are like $50 each. So they're like half the cost. But it's just one of those things. I just hardwire these and they're done. I don't have to worry about them now.
Yeah.
And eventually when the LifeX lights suck or they die or whatever, I'll just replace them with normal lights. The wire's there. That's the hard part.
Exactly. It's much better to do that. I bought 2 Govies to install, the little spotlight things, to go along with the other Govies. They're just strewn about the yard since Christmas. I didn't take those down yet. But I can set them to white light and not Christmas lights. But I can also set them to, I don't know, what's next? Easter? I can make pastels and do that. But I noticed that part of my house is not very lit up because I'm missing lights and that kind of thing. So I got the extra Govies. I'm going to put those in, but I'm going to have to bury some wire to do it too. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's the best way to do it.
Yep. And I'm going to bury real wire too when I do it and then splice it in on the Govie wire because,
do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can always take that wire and put something else in later if I need to. So
yeah, it's the same thing whenever somebody has me like install one of those really cheap analog camera kits. I almost always just do Cat 6 and then we just do a Ballon because eventually you're going to want to upgrade those crappy cameras to real cameras and the wire's already there.
Yep.
That's it. No more projects for me this week. So maybe I'll start working on some other things now that's getting nicer out, but I need to do some landscaping and some gardening. So
see, it's so nice outside right now. Like I should be out there just doing stuff every day, but I'm just wasting the nice days that we have. I'm waiting for that summer.
Yeah, before it gets super hot and you don't want to go outside.
It's like a week away. It's already been a couple of days of super hot and not wanting to go outside. And yeah, now that the nice weather's here, we got one more little push through of nice weather, and I think that's gonna be it. We'll be back to summer. All right. I think that's going to wrap up the show this week. We do want to give you a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know what the Patreon page, head over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to the private Slack chat, the hub, where you and everybody in there can get... there's been some good conversation about... what was it? Wall lights? Oh no, fan controllers. There's some fan controller stuff going on today in there.
Very, very controversial.
yeah, exactly. What was it? Josh was installing the Innovelli fan light canopy module that I think we talked about in the show before when it was kind of announced or whatever. Sounds like he had a good experience with it, so that's kind of cool. If you do want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
Okay. Oh, what are we talking about? Reynoldsburg again?
Yeah, well, I'm there. I don't talk about it.
Okay.
The home of TJ.
You know, when people ask me, they're like, "What did you choose Reynoldsburg for?" I'm like, I could afford it. That's fine."
Yeah, same with
There wasn't anything crazy about it. You know?
same with Pickering. To be honest, it's like I can afford it here.
Yeah. Have you ever millennialed? Because
Yeah.
I could buy a house for less than $200,000. Where else can you do that and not get stabbed? not meth pipes everywhere.
meth pipes.
Crack pipes, meth pipes. I don't know. I don't do hardcore drugs, Seth. I only smoke weed like a sensible millennial.
I don't inhale it.
All right, Bill Clinton.
I didn't inhale. I was just around them a lot, a whole lot.
All my friends did it.
I just looked cool.